And we are now, as I mentioned, as Nate talked about, as we've sung, we are now at the time of reading up the Scripture, lifting up the lesson that we have for this day from the Gospel of Matthew. And this is the lesson that we hear just about every time this year. I don't know that we're not always given this lesson, but I think we like to talk about the wise men at some point in this story. It's a familiar story. So if you'll turn with me to Matthew in chapter 2, right at the beginning of chapter 2. How funny, we read the later part last week, and now we're going back to this part again. But this is the time that we associate with the wise men. And I'm going to put it up on the screen. Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. I'm reading from the same version that we have on our screen today in the NRSV. And follow along with me. Titled, The Visit of the Wise Men. It says that in the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." And when King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. And they told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea. For so it has been written by the prophet, And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." And then Herod secretly called for the wise men to learn from them the exact time when the star had appeared. And then he sent him to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. And on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chest, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And then, having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. It's a familiar story, a story of the wise men, the Magi, visiting Jesus. Thanks be to God this day. Amen. And I'm going to try something a little bit different today. This is a new year, and I'm going to try something. I've got a couple slides that I'm going to show you with my presentation today. And so we're going to see how this works out. But there's an old Peanuts cartoon. You can see if this will show up for us today. And I love this cartoon. You see Linus is there, and it's almost like, you remember, well, Linus, it's almost like you remember in the Charlie Brown Christmas pageant, and he's telling the story, and he's right there next to Snoopy in his doghouse, and he says, "And the wise men brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh," and Snoopy looks surprised. He says, "No puppy?" And I love that cartoon, especially this year, because as I've shared with a lot of you, our family decided that this would be the best time for us to get a new puppy. And it's primarily because our golden retriever, Soppy, is about 8.5 years old. And, a big dog only has such a lifespan. So we thought that this puppy would help to kind of lift her up in the remaining years of her life. Plus, we thought that Soppy would be a good mother to a little puppy. And so it was around the first week of December that I went out, and I drove down to Pueblo, and I met a breeder down there, and I got a new golden retriever puppy. It's like a little baby Soppy, just 8 weeks old. And the kids named this puppy Sunspot. Here, I'll see, maybe this might mention slide. There's the puppies that are together. You see, you can hardly tell. It's like a big ball of fur, right? And the one on the bottom is the 8-year-old, and the one on the top is well, she's about 12 years old now. But in any case, the name of the puppy is Sunspot. We've got Sunspot and Soppy. Soppy and Sunspot. And at first, Soppy didn't want to have anything to do with Sunspot. But it didn't take very long, and now the two of them do just about everything together, just like Soppy was Sunspot's mom. And so as you can imagine, we've had a pretty busy few weeks chasing around this new puppy, but it was really the right time to do it, especially with the holidays. You know, the kids had 3 weeks off. Some of your, well, I shouldn't say that out loud. I don't think all the kids did, but our kids had 3 weeks off, so this is a great chance to welcome a new puppy. And we went down to Oklahoma, and she did well. But still, with all the busyness that we've had in this season, and the holidays on Sundays and such as that, I was really glad to have a snow day this past Thursday, because it gave me a chance to catch my breath and really to rest for a minute and to enjoy the holiday. Do you remember this past Thursday? Some of the snow was still on the ground, and I got up at 6 a.m. that morning and I texted Pamela in our office and announced a snow day, and then I went back to sleep for another hour. I don't get to do that very often. But my sister had just come into town on Tuesday night, and I thought, what better time for us to celebrate Christmas together? And so we were having a snow day. We were all there together, and I built a fireplace, and I put on some Christmas carols, and I brought out this 1,000-piece puzzle that I've been waiting for just the right time for us to do together. And that's how we spent our day together. My sister and Nikki and I and the kids and our 3 dogs running around. We were working on this puzzle, watching old movies, listening to Christmas carols, just like it was a holiday. And so that's why I mention, and that's why I share that, because for me, Thursday probably felt more like a holiday than any of these other 12 days of Christmas. Largely because I wasn't working that day, apart from a few phone calls, and so we spent it all together as a family. And of course, I know that's true for a lot of us who have to work on Christmas, who have families that live so far apart. We have Christmas, don't we, anytime that our families and friends can get together. Whether that's on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or 2 weeks before or after, it really doesn't matter, does it? In fact, it's kind of like the characters of the wise men in the nativity scene. Because the scripture says that they didn't show up until what? At least 2 weeks later after Jesus was born. You might say that they were running, at least they were running a little late to the party. They found Jesus, did you hear the scripture says they found Jesus in a house, which proves that it must have been sometime afterwards. Jesus was born in a manger, and now he's in a house. And so that's why the church waits to remember the wise men until the Feast of Epiphany on January 6th, 12 days afterwards. Hence we have the 12 days of Christmas. I like this cartoon from Maxine. You've seen that one before. I have a hard time believing the story. That's an old favorite. Right, but one of the jokes that I most enjoy about this story, there's an old joke that says, do you know what would have happened if it had been 3 wise women, 3 wise ladies, right? Other than 3 wise men? You've heard that joke before. The answer is they would have asked for directions, arrived on time, helped deliver the baby, cleaned the stable, made a casserole, and brought more practical gifts. I love that joke. And yet, the scriptures tell us that the wise men did stop and ask for directions. Did you catch that? Matthew writes, wise men for the east came to Jerusalem asking, right? Where is the child who was born king of the Jews? And you know what? In fact, this may be all the proof we need that these men were truly wise and that they weren't afraid to stop and ask. That being said, perhaps there's a reason that we hear this lesson around the first of every year. Perhaps there's something that we need to learn. Maybe there's even some wisdom that we need to learn from these wise men who came from the east. Because here at the start of a new year, we're looking for guidance. Or maybe the resolutions that we made just a few days ago, are already feeling like it's been a few years ago, right? It's already feeling like it's more than we can handle. So what do? We look to the wise men. We look to their example. Remember, they came following a star. They didn't know where this star would lead them. And in this we have an example of trust, of putting our faith in God and letting God be responsible for the destination. Amen. Let God be responsible for the outcome. You see, these wise men, these magi, had studied the wisdom of the ancients, and they believed that this star they followed would lead to the Messiah. And they were willing to leave everything behind them, everything familiar behind them, to see if this was true. they weren't Christians, right? There wasn't any such thing as a Christian back then. They weren't even Jews. They were from the East. You might say that these wise men were the original seekers. See, they were seeking after a wisdom that transcended all of the religious categories of the day. In fact, it was only recently I was reminded of these wise men and of their seeking after truth when I read a story about an atheist lady down in South Carolina who's offering on eBay a chance to send her and her daughter to church. The auction is listed on eBay as "Take an Atheist to Church." And this lady lists this auction as follows. She says, "Your bid is for me and my 4-year-old daughter. She must be able to stay with me in worship at all times. We will attend any church on a Sunday morning and listen to the sermon with an open mind." And the auction finally drew a bid of more than $100 in order to take this lady up on her offer. And I thought that was an interesting story as a point of comparison for a seeker, right? However, I think the comparison ends when you realize that this lady is only open to meeting Jesus Christ in pursuit of her own financial gain. You see, that's very different than the wise men who came bringing gifts, bringing the best that they had. And so I think we can find here another nugget of wisdom from the story of the wise men that gives us some guidance in regards to how we make decisions. And that is, when we follow Jesus Christ, we ask not what can I get out of this relationship, but what can I get? And then finally we hear from the wise men, remember when they were faced with the decision of whether to return to King Herod or to go another way? And we later learned that King Herod planned to kill the baby. It was said that the wise men left for their own country by another road. In fact, you might say that this was when the wise men had their epiphany, meaning epiphany with a little e, having the sudden realization of the meaning of something. And so their leaving by another road represents the final words of wisdom from these wise men, which reminds us if we always make Jesus our first priority, if we're ever asked to choose between honoring Jesus and honoring another authority, then our choice will be clear. So 3 words of wisdom we have today from the wise men: to follow the star, meaning that we've got to seek Jesus in all that we do, to honor Jesus with the best that we have, to come bearing gifts, not trying to see what's in it for ourselves, and 3, to always make Jesus the first priority in our lives, so that when we're faced with a decision, we know which way to choose. And so regardless of what questions that we might be struggling with this time of year, the story of the wise man can give us some wisdom to figure things out, to give us some guiding principles to make good decisions, which means that it's a terrific lesson for us to hear on this first Sunday, second Sunday, I guess, now 2017. And so we've got the decorations up for this one last Sunday, and we're going to take them down. I think it's scheduled sometime later this week. And I don't know about you, but the same is true for us at home. We're going to get over this hump, and then we're going to take our decorations down. Because although the 12 days of Christmas are finally over, we still have our Christmas tree back up at home. We still have a puzzle out on the table that needs to be finished. And so when I go home, I'm going to try to piece a few more pieces of this puzzle together. And you know what? In closing, I want to say, I think I've even had a little bit of an epiphany, a small e epiphany around this puzzle. Because, as I said, this is a 1,000-piece puzzle. And what's more, it is considered one of the most difficult puzzles out there. It's called Lost Your Marbles. And it's what it is it's a picture of marbles, of a jar of marbles that's blown up and superimposed on a puzzle. And many of them the same color. It's so difficult that we put so many hours, Ezekiel, my sister, Nikki, and I, on this puzzle, and we're still not finished with it. But it has been nice. It's been nice because it's been a chance for us to visit over something other than what is our normal routine, to have a common project that we're all interested in. Even though at times both my sister and my wife have cursed me for ever choosing such an impossible puzzle as this one. Nikki tells me she's now seeing puzzle pieces in her dreams. And I almost lost it after our new puppy got a hold of a piece and chewed it up. It will be missing one piece at least. But it has been such a good way for us to spend time together as a family. And in fact, I think it was doing this puzzle more than anything else that made me feel like it's been a holiday. over these past couple of days. And so I had an epiphany, and this epiphany is in line with my New Year's resolution this year, as it is every year, and that's to try to be more intentional about spending time with my family. And I say this every year, although I don't know that I'm doing any better at it. I'm probably doing worse. But my epiphany, however, has to do with quality of time, not quantity. And if I can't get any more time with my family, then we're just going to have a better quality of time. Like doing puzzles together rather than just watching TV. And it's kind of like, and another man told me just this past week about how he was been thinking about his life and how he's resolved that in this new year he's going to make a new commitment to church. It's both for himself and as an example to his children. Because like me, it seems that this man has had an epiphany, although that's not the word that he used. But he says that he has a vision of a better way that he hopes will be his guiding star in this new year of 2017. Thanks be to God this day.